Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe in Love, back again with your AEW Dynamite review for February 16th, 2022. Solid show as we move from Valentine's Day and move into closer to Revolution, which happened on March 6th. And the pay-per-view is starting to shape up really, really nicely. I mean, the thing you love about AEW pay-per-views is that, well, with their system, it's 4 pay-per-views a year, Revolution, Double or Nothing, All Out, and Full Gear. And with these big shows that overlap for Dynamite in between these pay-per-views, it makes for a really entertaining watch when it comes to Dynamite. And going into these pay-per-views, we have such anticipation because there's a big break in between, but it's worth it because these big shows and the pay-per-views, likewise Revolution, are starting to look like one of the top pay-per-views of AEW, and it's just going to keep going. But we got some clearance, for CM Punk MJF, the rematch. A unique stipulation there, along with the Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley potential match at Revolution. I also a potential new member for the House of Black. We got a little vignette of the House of Black tonight. But first, before I get into the review for Dynamite, I want to touch on it a little bit because I haven't yet, but I have read and heard things across so far. And the Cody Rhodes and Brandy situation. So, Cody Rhodes, we know, youngest son of Dusty Rhodes, brother of Dustin, who came from WWE to Ring of Honor and kind of opened up things with Allin, that direction, and then one of the pioneers for building AEW in 2018. But there's been talks over the past number of days that he and his wife Brandy have left AEW, and there was a statement put up by Tony Khan and AEW, and well, because there's been the factamundo that Cody has been working without a contract the last number of weeks. With Sammy, with the ladder match, most notably his last match losing to Sammy in that great ladder match for the unification of the TNT Championship. It's just, Cody has gotten a lot of slack over the last year or so with the Go Big show and Rhodes to the Top and his booking on AEW. Now the consensus is that he and his wife Brandy have left AEW. And look, I'll still believe it when I see it because we did get some mentions of Cody Rhodes on Dynamite. But he was taking out the intro for Dynamite. There was talks that he's going back to WWE. Look, here's the thing. Look, Cody has obviously built more of a name for himself the last number of years, and since leaving WWE, because they did not utilize them properly, and we're hearing that more and more about talents in the last decade. But it was the fact that they did not use them well. And of course, everyone will remember Stardust and just how Cody was not used as himself, where he was able to be himself on Ring of Honor, on TNA. He had a brief stint there, and now AEW. If he goes back to WWE, will it be strange? Yes, it would. It would be strange in the fact that being one of the pioneers that built AEW into the success it is today, and considering how he was booked and portrayed in that company, especially his final years there, it was not well. But, at the end of the day, he's a father, look, it may just be his decision. I mean, if he goes back, I'll be happy for him. But at the same time, you're worried him being in the hands of Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. Now, on the other hand, because it's still not 100% concrete, if it ends up being a work or etc., if he stays, then of course be glad, because his character has been one of the more intriguing characters, especially as of late, with his quote-unquote tweener role. So that's going to be up for debate, but yeah. Just not sure. But I mean, for Cody, it's okay. We can tell, as we've seen as of late, that the audience could not care about Brandy because we've seen the last number of times she's been on TV. It's just not working out. Now, as a manager, sure. As a in-ring performer, it's just not gonna work. So, we'll see what accumulates from these reports, but we'll see with Cody. So, AEW Dynamite started off with CM Punk. He was in the ring. It was strange. He was sitting crisscross with a little box sitting in front of him. And I was really curious as to what was going to happen, but they did advertise that he was going to name his conditions for the rematch with MJF. And what we got was can't complain. So he was wearing one of MJF's new shirts, the mid t-shirt in the colors of MJF's scarf. So that was funny stuff there. He said he was proud of MJF. And for the date, he noted Revolution, March 6th in Orlando. But he was thinking about the match. So he's going back in place of hard matches that he's had to learn from, because he says he needs to teach Max a lesson or two. And then he keep mentioning Piper from Portland. So he knowing how Monday was Valentine's Day and how this time around he didn't have a Valentine. So then he started to open the box. And again, he mentioned Piper, some words from Piper. And and he took out the dog collar and said, MJF, will you be my Valentine? Hence referencing the dog collar match from a number of years ago. Roddy Piper, Greg Valentine challenge MJF to a dog collar match, which would be the second one in AEW history. The first one was great between Cody and Brody Lee, the great Brody Lee, this last fall, or excuse me, no, it was a year and a half ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago. So that was interesting. So he called out MJF saying he wanted to say it face to face. So then MJF came out slowly. He came out a bit shaky. So then CM Punk pulled out that picture, that old picture that we have seen so many times of a young MJF, a small MJF, taking a picture with CM Punk from a decade ago. And he referenced the picture saying, "This was probably the time of your life." And for me, this was Friday. So then he said that the price you paid to take this picture with me pales in comparison to the price you'll pay Sunday, March 6th, which will be the worst day of your life. And for me, it'll just be Sunday. And that on the canvas will not be your spray tan, it will be your blood. So, MJF again shaky. Looked like he was going to say something, respond with the microphone, but he looked emotional, dropped the mic, and left through the tunnel. And that was how the segment ended. I mean, great stuff there. Look, given the story and how many weeks it's been with CM Punk and MJF, the news of the rematch didn't really sit well last week and did not feel like the right move. Because with all this weeks build up and how long the match was, nearly 40 something minutes. And this match, it will be fun, will be great. Again, more layer to the story, which should be fun. But, I mean, I'm all for the match. It should be fun. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But I'm all for the match. Should be. We'll see. So then we got news that it'll be a triple threat tag team match for the AEW tag team titles. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy defending against two tag teams at Revolution. There will be two Battle Royals over the next 2 weeks, and the winner of those respective Battle Royals will earn their stripes for a match at Revolution. I mean, I kind of hope that it's the Young Bucks and Redragon. That just with the story they're playing here with the Bucks and the Redragon, it would make for an interesting story, but I think I'm not sure who the other two tag teams would be, but that would make for a great storytelling match, I would say. Young Bucks, Redragon, and Jurassic Express, sign me up. So we got Bryan Danielson versus Lee Moriarty. This was a fun match. Lee Moriarty, we've seen him a couple times. most notably a couple months ago versus CM Punk. Here with Bryan, he had a good showing, but for the start of this match, this without Bryan bullying Moriarty, he slapped him in the face. He actually hit him with some yes kicks in between the ropes. At one point got to break, but Moriarty knocked Bryan to the outside. Back from break, because the story of this match from Rampage was Bryan wanted to teach Moriarty about violence, and we saw a bit of a vicious side of Lee Moriarty tonight. So he unleashed with some ground and pound on Bryan, walked in the Motor City stretch, which is kind of a Gargano escape, and hit some more ground and pound, but Bryan countered with a suplex, hit the running knee, stomped on Moriarty's head, walked in the triangle choke, and Moriarty passed out. And afterwards, Bryan called out Jon Moxley, asking for an answer. Moxley had a great promo here. Talked about their history from the Ring of Honor days when Moxley was a young kid going against the best wrestler in the world known as the American Dragon. Talked the story of Bryan getting to the arena late due to travel issues. Said how many people were intimidated to fight Bryan Danielson in AEW, but not him. He was up in open arms about confronting Bryan. He weighed his options, discussed on what they could do for the sport in AEW, bringing along young guns, banging heads, carving a path, and Moxley got to thinking perhaps he wants to join forces with me because he doesn't want to stand across from me. So at the end of the promo, Moxley said, "I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. I don't I don't team up with those I have not shared blood with." So signifying that we're going to get a match between two at Revolution. What escalates from there, not sure, but should be a damn good match between Moxley and Bryan. Moxley also said that he has not beaten Bryan in the past, whether it's Ring of Honor or WWE. But if that's the case, we're looking at Moxley's first W, I'd say, over Bryan in a few weeks' time. We got a nice little vignette from Keith Lee backstage talking about his arrival in AEW, wanting to leave an impact. Phase 1 was complete in qualifying for the Face of Revolution ladder match. Phase 2 is the match, and after that, the TNT title, quote, will be mine. Should be a damn fun ladder match at Revolution. And then speaking of the Face of Revolution ladder match, we had Wardlow versus Max Caster. Pretty academic. Caster, because they were in Nashville, had a good promo. Chris Jericho posted a picture on Instagram of many of the wrestlers from AEW going to a Nashville Predators hockey game, all wearing Predators jerseys or something like that. Smashville, I believe, is what they said. So Max Caster was trashing on the sports teams of Nashville, quote unquote, said, talk trash about Wardlow. At the end of the day, Max Caster was crushed. Powerbomb Symphony, Wardlow, and Wardlow gets W and qualifies for Face of Revolution ladder match. Already, you got two big bulls, Wardlow, Keith Lee, in the ladder match, and then we got the qualifier on Rampage Riding, Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Should be good. Should be good. So we got Hangman Page, the AEW World Champion. He was in the ring. Before he could say anything, out came Adam Cole, baby. Adam Cole was out there. Asked for a round of applause for Hangman for being the champion he is. He praised his reign, but he touted that at some point it has to come to an end. He said how he's been in some great matches and has had a great reign as champion. Hangman, though, included that his friends helped build AEW an empire without him. So that stuck to Cole. Asking him how it feels to be across from the world champion, knowing this is the one world title you won't hold. So they brought up friendship, talking about their history and Ring of Honor and New Japan. And Cole said how wherever we've been, whenever the two companies, whenever we're both in the same company, you're just the other Adam. So this set off Hangman set aside his belt and was about to get in the face of Cole, but Cole backed him off, saying, relax. When we fight for the title, it'll be mano-a-mano, man-to-man, one-on-one, and with all due respect, we'll see who the better man is. So they shook hands, and Cole left, but you could kind of tell he had this prickish smirk on his face. And you could tell something was up. And out came Redragon, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, as they beat down on Hangman Page. Cole joined in on the beatdown. Officials came in. The Dark Order came in. 10 was throwing bodyguards everywhere. That was strange, but had to build up the match versus Cole, which gonna happen on Friday's Rampage. A good, interesting test for 10 of the Dark Order. But yeah, I love this segment. I mean, I was curious when Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish were going to be back because O'Reilly recently had a kid, his first child. So congrats to him and his significant other. But yeah, curious when he was going to come back. I mean, we didn't see Bobby Fish either. I guess that made sense because O'Reilly and Fish, they're best together. And yeah, but it's good to see they're back. And especially with these Battle Royals coming up in the next 2 weeks. Should be interesting to see where Redragon fits in the combines of the tag division. So we got Chris Jericho and Jake Hager for Santana Ortiz. This match obviously to settle the differences in the inner circle. Will they be fixed or who knows? But welcome back, A. Kingston. A. Kingston returned. He returned after a number of weeks to a great reception. I mean, great to see A. Kingston back after a broken orbital bone. So I'm not sure how he broke it, but great to see him back. I mean, one thing noted you have to respect about AEW is their depth. Real depth of the roster. I mean, for the last number of weeks, and 2 of them were still out. For the last number of weeks, we're without Eddie Kingston, Miro's still out, and Kenny Omega is still out. And they're all bound to come back, or Kingston return, but Miro and Kenny Omega are soon bound to come back. And what the heck is... I have my fan on, so something's blowing, but 1 sec. I'm guessing some of my papers are blowing, but I had to turn off my fan. Oh well. I'm almost done anyway, so with the podcast, but nonetheless, this match was good for what it was. I mean, no surprise, Kingston was in the corner of Santana Ortiz. At one point, Jericho and Hager were both in the ring looking to beat down on Santana, but that was to no avail. Hager was sent to the outside and got hit with a senton by Ortiz, and he was pretty much done for majority of the match. Jericho went for the lion salt, but countered by Santana Ortiz. Santana hit a leg sweep from the middle rope for a near fall. They went for the street sweeper, missed for a near fall. And then finally, after a distraction by Eddie Kingston, who got kicked off the apron by Jericho, a discus lariat by Santana on Jericho for the win. A bit of a weird outcome, but I mean, I wonder, maybe this was how the finish was supposed to happen, but Didn't really see Hager at the end of the match. So I'm just curious if he got dinged. And that was how it was called. But yeah, we did not see Hager, and bit of a surprise for that match, for this ending to the match. But yeah, Santana Ortiz get the win over Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. So then we got the Elite backstage with the promo. Cole, the Bucks, and Redragon. This was kind of hilarious. So Cole and Redragon were asking the Bucks, "Where were you guys earlier during the beatdown on Hangman?" So the Bucks then asked O'Reilly, "Well, where have you been?" And O'Reilly said, "Well, I had a kid." Hey, and Matt said, "Oh, really? Well, I have two." And then Nick Jackson told, "Well, I have three." So then they were all bickering about their kids enough, and then Cole said, "Enough. You guys all have beautiful children. Calm down." And then they bickered about the tag team battle royals over the next couple weeks, and Matt said, "Nice, see you then." So they all went off in different directions, and Cole was conflicted. He was thinking about going this way and that way. And Brad Cole was like, "Which way are you gonna go, Cole?" And then Cole was like, "Shut up, Brandon. Turn it off." Funny part of the show, I mean, still building towards the feud between what I assume is the Elite and the former Undisputed Era when Kenny Omega does come back. But yeah, with Jay White, we'll see. So we got a very fun match, I would say, between Mercedes Martinez and Thunder Rosa. No DQ match between two. Britt Baker telling how she wants Mercedes to finish the job on Thunder Rosa. So Mercedes had a pipe, and Thunder Rosa came with a chair, knocked the pipe out of Mercedes' hands, and beat down on Mercedes with the chair. Run to the ring, and then eventually Rosa was thrown to the steps, and then Mercedes was thrown to the crowd, knocked over the barricade, and Mercedes was kicked. Looks like she might have banged her head off the cement floor, but she was kind of out of it for a bit. But she was sitting in one of the chairs getting kicked on, and then Thunder Rosa, with help of a fan, hit a crossbody on Mercedes from one of those crowd seats onto the outside on Mercedes, and then they went to break. So back from break, there was a table wedged up in between the floor and the apron. So Mercedes hit a fisherman buster from the apron to Thunder Rosa through the table. I would not be surprised if Thunder Rosa injured her tailbone with that bump. Holy jeez, that bump. Hopefully she's okay, but yeah, that looked bad. That looked bad. because you can see the table bent in half. It didn't break in half how we are accustomed to seeing, but it bent. Yeah, that was not good. So back in the ring, there was trash cans and a couple chairs. So it looked like Mercedes was going for a deathfell driver off the top rope, but Rosa countered to a Hurricanrana. Then she put the trash can on Mercedes' head, hit missile drop kick for a near fall. Then they were on the top rope. Mercedes hit a released German suplex, followed with a top rope elbow. And again, another dangerous spot because Mercedes Martinez slipped off the top rope and she just fell on Rosa for a near fall. So then Mercedes set up a stack of chairs in the middle of the ring. But Rosa hit a crucifix bomb, followed with a thunder driver on Mercedes on the stack of chairs. Rolled up for the win. Thunder Rosa gets his hard fought battle win over Mercedes. Afterwards, she lifted up Mercedes to her feet in a sign of respect for this hell of a match these two women endured. And Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, was not happy as Mercedes was a mercenary of Britt Baker. So Rebel and Jamie Hayter came down disgruntled. And Britt Baker asked their sensei, who was at ringside, what should they do? And they beat down on Mercedes, Thunder Rosa. And she gave Britt Baker a pipe to attack Thunder Rosa and finish her. But Mercedes hesitated. They continued to beat down on Rosa, Mercedes, and the DMD group held up high, and Rosa gets her wins, and it's just a question, when this match is gonna happen. I mean, it could easily happen at Revolution, and based on tonight, it may end up actually being there, which I will not be mad at, but at the same time, double or nothing. If they want to prolong this feud, there's a thought, but I'll not be mad either way. So we got Darby Allin for Sammy Guevara in the main event for the TNT Championship. These two guys met twice, and both great matches. First was at Revolution 2020, almost 2 years ago. The second was in the inaugural TNT Championship tournament, in which again Darby won. So Sammy Guevara has yet to beat Darby Allin. This match though was fun, and boy, some of these spots made me cringe, and these guys are just crazy. Crazy. So Sammy, he dropped Darby Allin on the top rope. Fireman's carry tradition just dropped him square on the top rope. And Darby flat went to the outside. Then he set up Darby, drenched over the top rope. Sammy hit a senton off the top rope on Darby Allin's back, which again sent Darby to the outside. And geez, this was only the beginning. This was only the beginning. So then Darby was targeting the knee of Sammy throughout the match. They were on the top rope, and Darby was targeting the knee of Sammy with the Tree of Woe. Finally, Sammy perched up on the top rope, hit a beautiful Spanish fly off the top rope for a near fall. It looked like Sammy was going for a springboard, but Darby caught him with a figure four. Exchange back and forth. They slapped each other in the hold, which eventually got Darby to break it up. And then a beautiful exchange. So Darby went for the stunner, which then Sammy caught into the GTH. But then Darby caught the GTH with the Last Supper pinfall attempt. And I thought this was it. But Sammy somehow kicked out. There was that. Sammy was on the outside and Darby went for his suicida. But you could tell Darby wasn't going for the usual acceleration that he always does. He usually looks like he's coming out of a cannon. Shot out of a cannon. That was not the case here. He kind of pulled up and Sammy caught him with a cutter on the outside. Then Sammy, oh jeez. So Darby was draped over the apron and Sammy makes that look like he's crazy because he knows he's crazy. So he went on the top rope. This is probably not as bad as when Darby missed the coffin drop on Cody on the apron. But man, this is crazy. Sammy went for a senton again to Darby on the apron, but Darby rolled out of the way. Sammy hit the apron hard, and Sammy was down for a while. To the point where some kid, notably in the crowd, asks Sammy, "Are you okay? Are you okay, Sammy?" I mean, I kind of chuckled there, but yeah, that was brutal. That was brutal. So, and because he knew he was going to have an influence in this match, so first, Jose, Andrade El Ilo's assistant, he was on the apron, distracted Darby, who was on the top rope, but Sting took care of Jose. And then while Darby was going for the coffin drop, was dropped on the top rope by Andrade, knocked out the iPad, and then Sammy Guevara took advantage, hit the GTH square onto Darby, 1, 2, 3, for the win. Sammy retains. And Sammy Guevara finally beats Darby Allin. After match, Andrade blindsided Sammy with the iPad, left them both land, posed with both TNT titles, left with both, and it may be a sign of things to come. Andrade El Idolo as the TNT champion. Would be great to see. Would be great to see, but looks to see where this match goes at Revolution. And we could tell. But excuse me, what it's looking like Revolution is turning out to be a fantastic pay-per-view so far. And for Rampage Friday, it's gonna be a good one. Jay White for Trent Beretta, Dante Martin, first Powerhouse Hobbs, face the Revolution qualifier, Serena Deeb, her 5-minute rookie challenge, and more. So, but yeah, good Rampage shaking up for this Friday. But nonetheless, that's Dynamite for you guys, and that's the episode for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, of course, click that like as well as the subscribe. How about the channel? Also, if you want to see more of these videos on the homepage, you can find them all in the descriptions. But thank you. I'm Major Tool and Love. I'm getting out of here. Be safe. Peace.